What's up, YouTubers? Been fiddling with my new used 2007 Mustang GT convertible premium edition. Really nice shape this car was in, but it needed some some maintenance, just basic maintenance, fluid maintenance, that sort of thing. A common issue with these cars, one of the strangest things ever, I'm sure it may be affecting other cars as well, is a creaking brake pedal. How strange. You know, your brake pedal's way down there. Brake pedal right there. I noticed that when I pushed the brake pedal in, pretty firmly, I would hear a creaking sound. And it was obviously down in here. So I got to looking around, everything relating to the brake pedal. I was thinking maybe it just needs some lubrication of some sort into one of these little pivot areas, because it was definitely coming from this cylinder that goes into the brake booster that's on the other side of the firewall. The creaking is actually not coming from the cabin area. It is coming from your brake booster here. Because, I leaned out the window and then I pushed the brake pedal in, and I could hear a pretty substantial creaking sound from this region here. Of course, your master cylinder reservoir right there. And, some people online couldn't figure it out. Well, this car is basically trying to tell you that it needs a brake bleed and brake fluid flush. No, it's not the easiest project in the world, but if you have a Liquivac, which is one of my favorite things, you can get it at most Harbor Freight and Northern Tool. Most of these places you can get something like this. It is a hand-operated vacuum tube that will hold its vacuum for a few moments at least, which is crucial for doing brake fluid removal, because it's usually a two-man job. This basically allows you to do it by yourself. I use a similar method for working on motorcycles, any kind of hydraulic brake methods. So, I also noticed that it's easiest if you go ahead and remove your wheels. So you have to put it up on blocks. Put your car up on blocks. If you want to do it the quickest way, remove your wheels, because you're going to have to access the bleeder nipple, but you can't really see it through here. But it's kind of in a way that's hard to access, even if you're under the car on a creeper rolling around. It's just difficult to get to, because you're going to need to attach your hose to whatever method you use, but I highly recommend the Liquivac method. You got to put a tube on it that you will connect to your caliper bleeder. See if I can see it in here. I can't really see it on this side, but it's easier to reach if you remove your wheels. You can just reach in right here and do it. I tried other methods that night, and it was just too difficult without removing the wheels. So take your wheels off, put the car up on blocks, of course, and you need to bleed your brakes, front and rear. Most people say you should start from the rear of the car, bleed it from there, and then work your way to the front, to the closest wheel to the master cylinder. Bottom line is, you need to bleed your brakes, and what you will notice, and you can fill this with .3 or .4 fluid, because the bottle says so, even though it calls for .3 on the cap there. Your brake fluid will say .3 or .4 applicable. Anyway, when you bleed your brakes, oh my goodness, it is going to feel like new again. Totally like new. Now, this car only had 69,000 miles on it, which doesn't sound like much, but you should bleed your brakes. I'm guessing not just mileage, but years also, because the fluid gets contaminated with debris and water, condensation, just dirt particles. No different than on a motorcycle or any other hydraulic system. The fluid eventually gets contaminated. But when I bled the brakes on this thing, that's all I changed. No more creaking of the brake pedal. Simple as that. So I was just blown away at how well that worked. As well as, you know, the brakes just felt better. It felt like new. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, there you go. If you got a creaking brake pedal, I'm sure this might affect other cars as well, but this just happens to be 07 Mustang GT. Had a creaking brake pedal, resolved it by just doing a thorough brake fluid flush and bleed. There's all kinds of videos on doing that procedure, but people who are stumped on how to resolve the creaking pedal, that's how I resolved mine. We'll come back with a few other things I've resolved on this car to make it feel like new again. Check you later.